Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Make sure you do go hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. You can't miss it. You can join discussions, chat with other traders, share ideas. I share ideas there as well. Find out more information regarding Elevating Traders as well. So if you are interested, make sure you go check it out. Like I said, free to join. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But welcome back to another stream, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone had a good weekend, well rested, ready for another trading week. What's up, Campbell? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good to have you back. Ahmed, as always, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. So, as always, we'll start with the DXY, start with the USD side of things first, go through the dollar, USD majors, gold, silver, probably take a look at some US indices as well. If there is a particular pairs you do want me to look at, let me know. Drop it in the chat. Of course, any particular time frames you're looking to work on, let me know as well. Primarily, we'll be looking at the 4 hour, the daily chart. So if you do want me to go a little bit lower, let me know. But yeah, first things first, the dollar. So not really much has happened since not last week, but the week before. Of course, we had that colossal drop to the downside, and since then the market has been pretty flat, as you would expect it to, because it has such a stretch move. The market doesn't really have much much energy left. We are fairly corrective, so even if we do have a swing to the downside again, I do expect it to be fairly corrective because I do think a pullback is on the horizon. Still very bearish as a whole in terms of my outlook for the dollar. I still do expect a lot more downside if I scale to the higher time frames. The daily chart, actually no, the weekly chart, see the level better. So this is where I'm expecting the dollar to head towards. Really massive support here at 101, we'll call it. And that is the direction I'm expecting price to move towards. We had a very strong push to the upside, fairly strong push to the upside, but a very strong push back down, kind of giving us this inverse V shape, which is a very strong reversal pattern. And I'm expecting us to correct and continue south. All in all, it looks like price has just manipulated the highs here, failed to sustain a breakout, and now we're reversing back down. And in fairness, we've had a 2 year range here, 2 year plus range actually. And the way I see it is prices just faked the high and now we're back within the range, expecting a push to the opposite end. So pretty straightforward in terms of my expectations there with the dollar. Now it's just about finding some pullbacks to continue to short it. I've pointed out a couple of areas which I do like. I like this level here at 104.5. That's if you have a bit more shallow correction, that area would interest me. And also the low here at 105.5. That's also a really nice level for a short as well. Depends if you have a slightly deeper pullback, then that's probably the area I'll be looking to consult with. But yeah, expecting more downside. Still very corrective as well. I know we're looking a little bit bearish this morning. Looks like price had an attempt to correct over there, but it's pretty much failed. So perhaps we do get one more push back down before perhaps maybe a pullback there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for the dollar. In terms of Euro USD, again, pretty much the opposite. Again, for Euro, I'm looking at push to the upside for hopefully a correction as well. This one, I do have a very bullish bias as well. We're looking at a big V shape in the market, big impulse down, a lot of consolidation, and then big impulse back up again. Very common reversal pattern. Looking for a correction and then the continuation back into resistance around 1.105, 1.1. Eventually, I do think we will take out the wick high here because on a quick note, Euro USD is actually rejecting a very, very big level of support on the monthly chart. Now, this month's candle hasn't closed yet. We've still got pretty much half the month to go, 14 days roughly, before the monthly candle does close. But just by looking at gauging momentum and seeing what we did in the low time frames, it does look as if this support level has held. This is a big fake out, and we had that big from 2022. Price is now comfortably above support and holding very strongly. So I do think if this is a successful retest, it could be a lot of upside in the near future, but that is a story for another day. So just keeping that in the back of our heads for now. But yeah, Euro very bullish on. Just want to see a bit of a correction because the market's still pretty much overbought. It's due a correction. Doesn't mean it can't keep pushing, by the way. Just because the market is overbought or fairly stretched doesn't mean you can't keep pushing. But eventually it will have a correction, and that's the move I want to take as a trader. I want price to pull back, and then I can find my entries. And these are levels I'm looking at: the retest of 1.077 or 1.06, more or less, around that area for some longs. And then, yeah, expectations back into resistance, like the big consolidation up there. I think that is where we're likely to head towards. But yeah, first, I do want to see a bit of a correction. Perhaps there could be some nice sells for euro if you're trying to look to, capitalize on that correction. Not really my trade, but I can see the logic there. Probably would wait for a push to the high. Pound USD, similar situation as euro, very stretched to the upside, expecting a longer term swing. We came back, respected a really nice area of demand, basically respecting that previous swing low, which of course created this new swing high past, oh, didn't mean to do that, past this point here. So if price is potentially creating another higher low in comparison to the previous low there, we're heading back to the high. That would be the high over here at 1.34. There's potentially a lot of upside. Now, pound USD isn't necessarily the most trending of markets. It's very, very flat. So, not really too much focused about trying to take pound USD all the way back to 1.34. In fact, if you can see a correction, come back to retest an area like such, I'll be very swing just back to where we came from. Let's say if we pull back from this area and we pull back, come back for a retest, that will immediately be my target for the trade. And I probably wouldn't take it further than that. I only try to stretch trades when the conditions are promising, as in there's a lot of momentum in the market, there's a strong trend overall. Pound USD is pretty flat. Um, but yeah, I still do have a pretty long-term bias for this one as well. And yeah, a bit of a V-shaped pattern as well. We broke structure last week or the week before. Nice break above that high there. This is the swing high that gave us this swing to the downside. Kind of got this V-shaped pattern. So again, expecting a bit of a correction and a continuation at a later date. There might be some sells in the lower time frames to keep an eye on. Again, pound USD looking fairly corrective right now. So it does look like we're running out momentum and hence expecting a push down. So shorts can look pretty good there for pound USD maybe as the week progresses. But I expect there to be more juice to the upside. So I'm more focused with the longs. But that might take a few days to pan out. So I need to keep that in mind. Dollar CAD, I'm still currently short on this one. It's been a very, very sideways hold, but what can I say? My resistance level is still holding, so the trade is still valid. Came back from the retest last week, respected well. I'm still holding as resistance. My expectation is still swing back into support down there. I've drawn the fib on from the high to the low. Nice swing to the downside. The idea of the trade is that I'm looking for the correction of this move. Now I'm looking for the next swing. So I'm anticipating another low high forming and another bearish move back into the low. I'm very bearish on the USD, of course. Dollar CAD's kind of the only USD pair which hasn't really moved much. I mean, actually, no. Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar haven't moved much either. Yeah, so then three. But yeah, I'm expecting a bit of a correction and a continuation. So we'll see how that trade goes. If you're looking for entries for dollar CAD, it's a little bit of a tight one, but I would wait for price to push back into resistance. That way I can get a safe stop loss above the highs and then maximize my risk reward. Entries in this area, unless you're looking for very short-term moves, it's going to be very difficult because it's just very, very messy. In terms of Aussie dollar, so yeah, this one hasn't moved much, but it is starting to pick up momentum this morning. Looks like Aussie's a bit strong. I did say I don't really have a clean entry for Aussie dollar in terms of a safe place to put my stop loss, other than if we were to push back to the lows here, then I would do. Or if price is going to break through the highs, which I'm expecting it to do, then perhaps some pullbacks afterwards could look really good. Maybe the retest of the high there could be a nice trade, or even the retest of this high. Depends on the breakout and depends how much we pull back as well. But I'm very bullish on Aussie dollar, expecting USD to retain that strength for a while, to be honest. So pairs like Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, I do see breaking to the upside. It's just I don't really have a clean setup to trade it yet, and that's really what I'm waiting for. But something like that would interest me. Break and retest of those areas, or if we have a massive sell-off for some reason, I would love to pick it up from the lows there as well. As the USD, pretty much the same analysis there, expecting price to break to the upside. In fact, we've just gone and done that. Yeah, price is looking very, very bullish. So it looks like we are breaking to the upside now. So we do have some nice bullish structure at hand. So once this next bullish phase kind of runs out of momentum, would expect a bit of a pullback, hopefully at some point, and perhaps maybe a retest of the high here for some longs, or maybe the retest of this high. Like I said, depends on how big the move is, how big the pullback is, how much momentum there is, which level I focus on. But I do expect more upside for both of them, hence the USD and Aussie dollar, both coming from some big, big areas. And it looks like we've had a big bearish trend, which is pretty much bottomed out. So now expecting a bit of a bullish trend to form. And then, of course, you've got your lovely gold and your lovely silver. Gold is doing gold things, looking very, very bullish as a whole. Looks like we are consolidating a little bit. This is the setup I'm interested in. I like the consolidation back here. Really strong break to the upside, taking up the highs. We had a pretty big correction here, so I'm wondering, can we make a similar move? You know, if I kind of clone this move here and bring it from the current high, that might take us back into this range and perhaps catch the next higher low to take it back into the high, and maybe so on and so forth. Then we might start some larger kind of corrective behavior. But yeah, gold is still very bullish. At the moment, it's kind of consolidating here. I wonder if it's going to break to the upside. I think there's a good chance we do that. Already seen too much opportunities right now with gold, even if I drop to the 15-minute chart. It is just very, very sideways. It's looking fairly stale. It's always difficult trying to short gold and call the tops on it. It's not like an FX pair which corrects all the time. Gold, once it's in that mode, it can just keep pushing, keep pushing. So shorts are always very difficult. Longs, if you're looking for longs in the 15, I would wait to see if we can push back into the swing lows down here. Um, Something like this, and that would be a nice place for a long. Get a safe stop loss, still try and take advantage of the swing, and you can get a nice entry. So somewhere around there is where I would say longs could look good. You basically can to trade the range really targets back at the high, but that would be the best trade I can find in the lower time frames. 4-hour chart, something like this is what I'll be waiting for. And then silver. Silver's looking very bullish as well. Big move to the upside, looking very strong. Expecting silver to push back to the highs here at 34.827. I do expect the price to go a lot further than that, to be honest, but for now, we'll keep it relatively simple. Price is taking up some key resistance here as well, which is the key thing I was waiting for with silver. Can we break through resistance here? And we've done that with ease, to be honest, for the past few days. So now I'm just looking for a bit of a correction and then see if I can swing it back to the high. I drop the 4-hour chart. Preferably a retest of this area would be nice. Nice little range there, kind of similar to gold. But I might see a lower time frame opportunity on the retest of this area. If I drop to the hourly chart, we might see price kind of stab one more time to the downside, test that area, and then rally. So that could be a nice trade, perhaps on the hourly or even 30-minute as well. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, very bullish on gold and silver, a lot of momentum for them. So I do expect them to keep pushing. Just about waiting for some good pullbacks. To be honest, gold, if we can come back and retest that range, silver, if we come back retest that range, expecting more upside. Very, very bearish on USD as a whole. So that means gold and silver potentially could push up as well from that perspective in terms of correlation. But of course, there'll be many other factors as well. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the USD side of things for me. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good to have you on the stream. What's up, Soccer Highlights? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good as well. Campbell, hey, appreciate it. Since Friday, I've been a fan. Yeah, did you catch the analysis on the weekend? Excuse me. I do have a course with Elevating Traders. Yes, there is a free course there. If you go to elevatingtraders.com, go to the website, and at the top, There will be a tab that says Academy. Click on that, and it will take you to it. Himanshu, what is up? Nasdaq long from current price. TP. Okay, we'll have a look at Nasdaq. I'll go through the US indices actually. Okay, so where is it? Um, I'll go through Nas, then I'll take a look at S&P and the Dow Jones. So Nasdaq, you said you're long. So yeah, I did talk. This was actually the bonus pair on the weekly analysis this week. I said there could be some nice longs for this one. I still am favoring the shorts. Where's the 200 moving average? Let me add that to the chart. I like looking at the 200 when I'm looking at the indices. It's a good reference point. So yeah, with excuse me, with NAS 100, I'm expecting a bit of a relief because we've had a heavy sell. I would imagine that a lot of sellers will be looking to take profit, so they'll be slowly exiting their positions, and as a result, I do expect to see a bit of a relief. Now, I am pretty bearish on NAS longer term because of the aggressive nature we've broken out this range. I do think price is likely to correct itself and then continue south. It depends how we pull back. It depends how we get there. So, based on new information, I might change that bias. But as of right now, I'm expecting a correction and another drop there for NAS. See, the last time we were below the 200 for NAS was this breakout here. Price was comfortably above the 200 for a while. He had a slight dip, but that quickly reversed. And then we had a really strong break. We held the 200, and that started off a pretty bearish trend then 2022. Since then, we've been comfortably above the 200. And I wonder, is this going to start another correction? We'll have to wait and see. But initially, I do think longs look good. Dropping to the 4-hour chart, price is becoming a little bit flat. You can see we haven't necessarily ripped the downside. Price is still really corrective. So I do think we will have that correction, whether it will turn into a big bullish move or price just corrects to continue south. I like the longs for this one. I did say to get long on as it would be nice to see another push to the downside, perhaps some wicks taking out that low. That would be a nice area for an entry and looking to capitalize on a trade like so. Maybe if you're lucky, you can swing it back into resistance there around 2,600. But it looks like price is double bottom, so maybe we just break from here. So that could be the case, but it would be nice to see price come back and retest support, maybe even wick through it a little bit. Himanshu, you said you got a long from current price, so your entries current price, and targets 2650. Okay, so you're looking for the retest of the area. So yeah, I like the idea. It's pretty much what I'm looking at there for the NAS as well. Again, it's maybe a slightly more aggressive entry because you're trying to call the bottom of this bearish move, but it does look like price is starting to find its feet a little bit and put a nice double bottom. So it would be nice if you can get an entry down here just to maximize the risk reward a little bit better. But if, of course, we end up breaking resistance there, then perhaps we do see the push to the upside. So, yeah, I don't mind that trade, to be honest. I do like it. Still looking at the shorts from 2650 or 2600. So we can see what we do when we get there. But for now, I do like the correction there. And that's kind of what I'm looking at for other indices as well. S&P 500, looking at a correction there too. Price had a big drop. We've broken through the 200. We've left some big levels behind us. I wonder if we're going to head now towards that direction for some longs. I like how price is kind of rounding off a little bit as well. It'd be nice if S&P had one more sell, and that could be a really nice buy there at the low, stops below the low, and then possibly the retest of that area, coming back into the 200 and coming back into the level. Got some nice confluence in that area, which could attract price. Hence, targets in that area make a load of sense. So, yeah, I mean, S&P, NAS, big break of structures. We broke through the 200 in the first time in a long time. So, to me, this is a longer term bearish indication that we could have a really big trend form. Again, I still expect to be a correction for price to go higher, but I can't ignore that. So yeah, upside looks good now. But as we approach those areas, perhaps some downside will look good after. What's up, Holy One? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Close pound CHF, one account and took USD CAD south. Okay, yeah. Gold price already triggered. Now potentially patiently wait for the high prices, then pull back. Euro yen still halfway. Take profit. Okay, nice. What are you doing with Euro yen? Um, so yeah, first, so yes, I'm still holding dollar CAD sells. Still holding that. I haven't really had a red flag to exit the trade just yet. So yeah, everything is okay. Price is still holding my level pretty well, still rejecting it, still seeing some nice momentum. So yeah, until I see a red flag or a sign that says okay, maybe price is going to head up, I'm still going to hold that position. But yeah, look at dollar CAD. We'll go through pound CHF. Gold is looking insanely bullish as well. At the moment, it's kind of consolidating, but looks like it might break to the upside. But I'm waiting for a pullback for gold and silver to get some longs at myself. Quickly go through US 30 whilst I'm on the indice topic. So yeah, US 30 breaks the 200, also breaks support. Now with US 30, we haven't had necessarily a big breakout like we did with NAS and like we did with the other one, S&P. Mine went blank for a second. We haven't had big breakouts like those. So those I have a bit more. I'm slightly more optimistic about those sells. US 30, of course, it's very kind of. I mean, it's gonna follow what S&P and Nas do primarily. So if they have big sells, US 30 will probably do the same. But in terms of the price action, not looking as good, and as of course a technical trader, that has a lot of weighting. So I'd rather be looking for shorts for S&P. If we can get a pullback, I think that'll be a nice short there around the 5,800 level. And same thing with NAS as well. I think the shorts look really good around the 2,600 level. So those are the areas I'll be looking at. US 30 not looking as good. We have broken through a big area of structure though, which is of course the 200 and the swing low. We had a big double top there as well. So I do think price is likely to correct and form a lower high, but it might break above that resistance there. So it's not a big enough break for me to contemplate a retest of that level. I'm actually looking at potentially price pulling back to some of these areas or even this area here. Nice brief ranges in the lower time frames. Might come back to retest that before we do have a bit of a sell. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there for US 30. So it's not looking as good as the other one. So I'd rather just focus on them. But this one looks like it's likely for a retrace as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Uh, um, okay, so I'll go through. I mean, pound CHF has been very, very corrective. It is on a slow upwards trajectory though. So I do like the idea of longs and pound CHF because to me it looks like price has finally broken out of this resistance here, which is what 1.135. Looks like it has cleared that resistance. And if it has, then that would be the next level, the next expectation for pound CHF. Although the price action just isn't looking great, I must add, it's just very, very choppy, especially here as well. But I got a funny feeling that we might kind of consolidate and then just slowly pick up the pace and then shoot to the upside like that, maybe on some news or something. But yeah, the way I see it, pound CHF is looking pretty bullish because we've cracked big, big resistance and now we're trading above it. In fact, if we could actually pull back, there actually might be some nice entries down a retest of the range. But yeah, it is very flat, so it's difficult to hold through that. And we could break to the downside as well. So it would be pretty annoying there too. Yeah, in terms of dollar CAD, I'm still short on this one. Very, very sideways though, so it's been a difficult hold, but it hasn't done anything that is telling me to exit the trade. So I'm still short from that area. Not last week, not the week before that, but the week before that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 4th of March, it's the 17th. So that is coming up to to 2 weeks, so it's been a while. Anyway, so in terms of um, dollar CAD analysis, expecting a swing back into the low. Again, the expectation is I'm looking for 1.45 to hold. And if it does hold, then I'm expecting a push into the low because basically I'm looking at a pullback of that bearish drop we had a few weeks ago, pull back into the high, and then that's your short. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for dollar. I'm still very bearish on USD as well. So if USD is going to see a drop to 101, you're probably going to see dollar CAD drop too. Of course, CAD's going to play a big role, and CAD's been very weak, which is why dollar CAD hasn't seen much downside, but I'm expecting CAD to gain some strength. I do think it needs a bit of a pullback. Looks like pound CAD and euro CAD are getting ready for some downside as well. So I think we might see a bit of a drop. If euro CAD and pound CAD could drop, I think dollar CAD will drop as well. But yeah, still in dollar CAD, looking for more downside. Euro JPY, I'm going to the high 74 pips. Okay. I'm still looking to short euro yen, but it's not quite ready yet. I've had a look at the yen basket, and it looks like the yen basket is about to yeah, about to drop. I was thinking which way around is it? Yeah, it looks like the yen basket is about to drop. And if the yen basket drops, that means the yen pairs are going to push up. And I don't want to be shorting euro yen with the yen basket falling because if the yen basket is falling, that means yen is going to be weak as well. And of course, if yen is weak, then it's difficult for me to short euro yen. It's probably going to push up at that point. So have to be very, very careful. I do like the setup in euro yen as you're approaching some of those areas. I do think we can turn around, but it's not quite ready yet, especially looking at the end basket. Okay, still holding pounds each of a second account, also personal accounts. We've got to set up just so. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's an awkward one when the market's moving slow. I think the best way to look at it is whenever you're in a trade and the market is moving very, very slow, I think just kind of keep a mental note of what the outcome is, because that will give you more confidence to hold through the ranges in the future or to exit trades early. Because typically, if price does range on you, does it typically still break in your favor or does it typically go against you? If you know what price tends to do, then it will give you kind of the confidence either to close trades early or to hold through them. And then, of course, you're holding overnight as well, so you have to watch out for spread and slippage as well. What's up, Kiddis? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. What is up? What is up? Lighten Aussie dollar seems take tanking on short time frame. Not sure on the high time frame outlook. Okay, I'll take a look for you, Lighten. Good morning, Dark Sean. Welcome to the stream. GJ rain this morning. Okay, okay, and shorts look good from there. Okay, we'll have a look. Yes, we'll take a look at dollar yen as well. I'm holding the Aussie dollar buys from 0.626. I like Aussie dollar buys on the higher time frames. I do think there's a lot of upside longer term. Again, I'm very bearish on USD, so everything that lines up with that kind of bias, I am no, I'm looking to take advantage of shorts on the dollar. I'll quickly go through euro yen, and then I will take a look at Aussie dollar, GJ, dollar yen as well. So yeah, euro yen, I'm actually keeping a close eye to short this one because it's coming to an area where we formed some lower highs on the daily chart. So you can see we've got one over there, second one over there, and now I'm looking for a third. Looks like it's also lining up pretty well with the 200 there on the daily chart. So I'm liking the possibility for some sales here for euro yen. My expectation is still a big swing to take out the wick low here. And I'm basically looking at a really big head and shoulder pattern. So you got the left shoulder here, you got the head, and you got the right shoulder. Of course, this would be your neckline of the pattern. I'm expecting that to break in the next few weeks. So yeah, very, very bearish on euro yen. We're coming to bearish territory as well. However, again, judging the yen basket, even judging the price action here, doesn't look like it's quite ready to short yet. We might see price still break a little bit higher to the upside. But I am looking for us to completely melt there. So I'm waiting for some shorts for euro yen at the moment. It's probably my favorite pair right now in terms of the sells. But like I said, there might be still a bit of distance to the upside, especially if the yen basket does drop. So I don't want to jump the gun. And what I would say as well about euro yen, which is a key thing to note, this yen pair is a bit of out of sync with the other yen pairs. No other yen pairs has really made a big push to the upside in the past few days. Every other pair looks like it's about to push to the upside, but it has been very, very bearish, and that's because euro has been pretty strong. So it's kind of out of sync a little bit. So I don't want to, because the main currency I'm trading here is yen. I'm looking for a lot of yen strength in the long term. Now I'm just choosing which currency I'm trading with. At the moment, euro has been strong, so it's pulled back already in a nice place. But if yen is just not going to be strong, then it's still not going to give me the trade I'm looking for. So I have to be careful. But I'm going to keep close eye, still come back into resistance. So if we can hold, I'll look to short as well. Okay, so let's go through Aussie dollar, and then I'll take a look at GJ. We'll probably go through some rest of the yen pairs together. So yeah, with Aussie dollar, I'm looking at a lot more upsides. Lighton, you said it's looking pretty bearish. Seems tanking on the short time frames. Let me drop to the 15. By tanking, do you mean going up? Or are you talking about a different pair? Because yeah, this is flying to the upside. Unless you're talking like the 1 minute chart. Even the 1 minute is not really tanking. I mean, maybe the past literally minute, but your message was a few minutes ago as well. So yeah, by tanking, do you mean going up? I meant tanking upwards. Yeah, I'm not too sure if that makes sense, uh, Lighton. That's like falling up. I see your point though. I see your point. But yeah, yeah, Aussie dollar is looking very, very bullish. Aussie dollar is looking very, very bullish. I'm expecting this to keep pushing, to be honest. Very, very bearish on USD. I think Aussie has been weak for some time, and it might be transitioning into a stronger currency. Same with NZD USD as well. Again, I've talked a lot about the support we're coming from for Aussie dollar. Really big support here on the left around 0.62. And I'm expecting price to kind of form a bit of a bottom here and hence a bit of upside I'm expecting the next coming weeks. And yeah, we've kind of rounded off pretty nicely as well. We've kind of spent a few weeks here kind of just going sideways. And typically, when we do this, it's normally price forming a bottom. We're getting ready to break to the upside. So there's a lot of signs pointing in the upside direction. I do think Aussie dollars are eventually going to give us a nice breakout. The only reason why I haven't traded is because it hasn't gone into an area which fits my plan well in terms of entries. So I just haven't found a trade yet for it. But if we can break to the upside, that'd be great. And I'll be looking for some pullbacks to follow this one higher. So 0.64 look good. And then, of course, if we pull back a little bit deeper, 0.636 will look good as well. But yeah, it's looking very bullish on the lower time frames. I'm expecting more of the same. Perhaps there might be another correction. So if you do something like this, there might be another higher low to take advantage of in the lower time frames. Something like that. Maybe put a nice low here, put another one. Perhaps there might be another pullback, and that could be a nice trade to follow. But yeah, I'm expecting us to eventually pick up the pace to the upside and keep pushing. So yeah, very, very bullish on Aussie dollar. Okay, so we'll go through GJ next, and then we'll take a look at dollar yen as well. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Flying to the moon is much better. Flying to the moon is much better. Or launch into the room. Yeah. At least that way I understand the direction you're referencing there. Threw me off a little bit, but we got there in the end. Okay, so I'll go through some of the yen pairs next. Yeah, I agree. 1 minute is hard to trade. Very, very difficult. Just because your decision making has to be very, very quick. The benefit of trading the higher time frames is that I could spot a trade opportunity that's going to happen in the next couple of days, which gives me a couple of days to actually rethink my thoughts. Because maybe I was a bit emotional that day. Maybe I was seeing things that weren't really there. 24 hours is going to pass and be like, okay, that wasn't actually really a good position, so I'm just going to ignore that or wait to see if it develops into a better position. So you kind of get that luxury with the higher time frames to kind of wait and monitor. Lower time frames, it has to be, is it a good trade now? Okay, it is, enter, and you've got a very split, short amount of time to decide that. And of course, the lower the time frame you go, the less time you have to decide. So you have to make sure you're really, really sharp, really focused, and precise in what you're looking for. Emmanuel, pound Aussie, we'll take a look at that. Okay, let me just go through the yen pairs first. Okay, so pound yen, let's take a look. See. Okay, so pound yen, I'm expecting a move to the upside with this one. It looks like price has had a few attempts to try and break lower on the daily chart, mainly this level of support, and we've really struggled to do that. So I do think eventually price is going to make a break to the upside. Likewise with the yen basket, that looks like it's about to tank. So I do expect the correlation to come through as well. But even just looking at the price action for pound yen, the amount of attempts we've had to try and break through support is a lot. And the fact that we are slowly forming higher lows in the 4 hour as well, as we can see, one, two, three, four. I do think price is eventually going to break to the upside as well. But there could be some nice shorts on the lower time frames first, especially because we're having a lot of trouble at this area here anyway. So we probably will see some downside in the lower time frames. I just don't expect it to be anything too crazy. I mean, even that drop there is a pretty big drop there. How many pips is that? Let's say if we come back and test support. Yeah, that's still 100. That's still about 200 pips, give or take. So there should be still some nice downside to take advantage of. But I do think the bigger move is to the upside for pound yen in the next coming days. Darkshon, you said, let me drop to the 5 minute firstly. Expect to grow liquidity around 193 to 193.4. Okay, so you're looking for price to break above the highs here. And then you're looking to sell pretty much coming in back into the high there on the left. Okay, 193.4, potentially higher as well. Yeah, I mean, the market is still fairly corrective. So if we do push to the upside, we are likely to snap back down. And it could even be a pretty juicy snap as well. So I think that is still a nice place to short the market. Every time we do rally, we do have very aggressive corrections. So yeah, a push to the upside. I do think that's a nice place to short. I think shorting now would be a little bit too early. The market is looking very choppy as well, and it might be gathering positions for us to liquidate before shorting. So yeah, I do like the prospect for shorts above the high. I would wait for us to see if we can take up the high there as well, and that will be a nice bonus. 193.1 is kind of where I got the high. If we could pierce that as well, that'd be great. And we'll likely have a correction. Like I said, I do think the bigger move is still up, so yeah, I think we'll correct just to continue going higher. But I think there's still some nice shorts there on the lower time frames to take advantage of. Okay, so we'll go take a look at dollar yen next, and we'll go through pound Aussie as well. Hey, what's up, William? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Long time no see. I mean, I did see you. Did I see you last week? Can't remember. Yeah, can't remember. But I hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome. Okay, let's go take a look at dollar yen, and then we'll go through pound Aussie, and then I'll go for the rest of the yen pairs. So yeah, dollar yen. I am pretty bearish on this one long term. I'm looking for a push all the way back into 140, which is this level here. If I zoom out, you probably see it's a little bit better. So that's the level of support I'm expecting dollar yen to head towards. But I can see the market's very, very tight right now. We've taken out some major lows to the left here, and you can see how corrective we have been moving. We've been pretty corrective for some time. The market could potentially keep falling, but as a swing trader, I need the price to pull back a little bit deeper first before I do contemplate some shorts, especially if I'm looking for a push all the way to 140 as well. So I am looking for us to have a bit of a correction. If I get the fib out from the high to the low, we've got the 50 in that area. Of course, there's also a massive level of resistance as well. If I can line it up, there we go. So I'm looking to see if we can pull back roughly into this area. It's not pinpoint, but if dollar yen can move into 52, 53, I think there's been some nice areas to short from and possibly see the next lower high. And from there, we possibly could see a push to 140. So I'm pretty bearish here on dollar yen, but first I do expect to see a bit of a pullback. In terms of the longs, I would suggest if we can sell off again, perhaps go and take out the lows. I think that would be a really nice place for a buy. And anticipate a bit of a pullback because we are running out of steam. You can see the corrections are getting a lot more corrective, a lot more frequent as well, and we're no longer seeing really sharp momentum, which is what we had previously. So as we stay corrective like this, we're likely to push the upside. And then again, if things look good when we get to these areas, 151, 152, I'll be looking for some sells to take it right back down again. And hopefully a really big swing will be on the cards there to 140. But we'll speak more about that when it's actually closer. So forming for now, if you're looking for some counter trend trades, I think buys look good. Maybe a little bit more of an aggressive trade because you're picking the bottom there. I think judging how price is moving, it makes sense. And then if you're looking for the bigger swing trade is there. Just you might have to wait a few days for it to develop, but that is what are we looking at for dollar yen and a big swing to the downside. But first, I do think some upsides on the cards. Okay, so we'll go through pound Aussie, then I'll go for the rest of the yen pairs. Okay, been busy learning a new skill as side hustle. Okay, nice. So got a bit of time now to open the stream. Okay, hope it's going well. But yeah, glad to have you in the stream, my man. So we'll go through pound Aussie, then I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs. Of course, any other requests, let me know. But yeah, pound Aussie, I'm expecting a bit of a pullback. Emmanuel, you're expecting correction. Okay, nice. The 2.01 to continue to buy. Where is 2.01? Okay, so somewhere around there. Yeah, I can see that happening as well. If I bring up the fib from the low to the high, yeah, it pretty much lines up with the 50 percent there. So I think it's a logical expectation. I think we're very, very bullish here. To be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually are eventually going to take out the wick high here, but I am expecting a bigger correction. And if it gives us a correction, we could even look for some buys to go and potentially take out that wick. But you can see on the daily chart, really strong bearish engulfing candle. Market is becoming a little bit more corrective. We had a lot of momentum since the breakout here. Things are becoming a lot slower, a lot more wicks, bearish engulfing candles. So a sign that the market is getting ready to retrace. Um, Momentum is shifting. I like the double top over here as well. Nice rejection. If you're looking for some entries, there's two ways to go about it. You can possibly look for the retest of the low here. It's more of an aggressive trade. I'll drop to like the 30 to 50-minute chart to trade that. I'm not the biggest fan because it doesn't give me the best place for a stop loss. Um, yeah, I'd rather my stop loss be above highs than kind of within that kind of choppiness. But again, you might not get the bigger pullback and get your stop loss above the highs there. So you run the risk of missing the trade. But something like this on the low time frames could sit up pretty well, and then you can capitalize on the retracement. If you are looking for a bigger swing, you probably want to wait for price to push back into the high, and then look for some sells around there. 2.063 will look good, stops above the high, and capitalize on the pullback. If you're looking for some buys for pound Aussie, then I do like the high here, which we just discussed, 2.01, coming back into the 50 there, the fib. That would be a nice place for a buy. We had a really big breakout and price never even came back for a retest. So it's still a really fresh area for a buy and probably give us a good chance to continue the trend. We've been very, very consistent with all the higher lows. The expectation is that we'll probably likely to form another higher low and continue this uptrend. So yeah, pound Aussie and pound NZD and Euro NZD and Euro Aussie, they're all very bullish as a whole in terms of their trend, but they're definitely at some areas where it's likely to pull back now. So if you are looking to trade them, I think if you're looking to buy back off for now, probably see the sellers take control of the market a little bit. But as we do come back to some lower prices, like for pound Aussie 2.01, I think that's a great place to be looking for some buys for a swing back up again. So yeah, I do agree with that outlook. I'll go take a look at some of the other yen pairs. So Euro yen's the only one that I really like because it's in a nice area, but I have to be careful because, like I said, it looks like the yen basket's still got room to the downside first. In terms of pound yen, I'm looking to short this one as well, but I do need it to push the upside. I'm still very bearish on the yen pairs as a whole. It's just it looks like we might be pushing to the upside a little bit first, so being very cautious of that. But for pound yen, I'm still looking for a big short. We've got a major high there, big push to the downside, another major high form, big push to the downside. I'm basically looking for that to repeat again, basically coming back into the area of supply, another push to the upside, and then hopefully the sell. My expectation is still price is likely to take out the wick low here, and we're very, very far away from that, which means opportunity. Um, if we are still going to take out that low, that means there's a big trade to be taken advantage of, which is slowly forming. And yeah, I just want to see a push to the upside. Price had quite a few attempts trying to break through support here. They've all pretty much failed. So do you think price is like to push away first? And then if a lower high can form, great. That is where I'm looking for entries, at least to push back into support. But I'll look to see if I can try and stretch the trade a little bit further. So that's really what I'm after there for pound yen, just waiting for price to come a little bit higher. Um, and I'll see what we can do in terms of some sells, but I'm waiting for that over the next couple of days. Euro yen, like I said, is pretty much there, so I'm just going to wait to see what we do. It's already in a nice area for a short. It's just about entries and keep an eye on the yen pairs as a whole because Euro yen is a little bit out of sync with the other yen pairs. If I take a look at CHF JPY, for example, this one again looking very, very tired. It pretty much is just consolidating right now. But again, it's another yen pair which I do expect to drop pretty hard in the next few weeks. But first, I'm looking to see if we can maybe get a bit of a pullback. Again, really strong support. If we look to the left, this is kind of like the neckline of the pattern. You got your left shoulder over there, you got your head over there, and you got your right shoulder over there. I'm looking for a push back to the upside, another lower high forming, similar to pound yen, similar to euro yen, and then get the shorts from that kind of angle. Looking at another major lower high forming there and a big short. But of course, I can't be looking to take any shorts whilst we're kind of just messing around at support there. But something like that will look really, really good. So going to keep a close eye on that. Looking at CAD as well, this one looks pretty bullish. I actually like the buys for this one. If price was to come back into support, I may take some counter trend buys here to ride that momentum up. You can see how corrective price has been. This is not the sign of a healthy trending market. When you see corrective behavior like this, you know the market is pretty much soon enough getting ready for a push to the upside, most likely. And if you can find some buys there, a little aggressive, sure, trying to pick a bottom. But you've got a lot of signs that the market is ready to push to the upside. Now is not the best time to be looking to enter any buys because you're approaching supply here on the left, and perhaps price is getting ready for another drop. So this is not the time to be buying. But if we do see another drop and price starts to reject the lows again, that's the time to be looking to long, and there could be a nice retracement on the cards. For CAD Gen, I am looking to see if we can push back into support around here. I do whip out the Fibonacci from the high to the low. You can see the 50 lines up pretty well with that level there, bang on the money pretty much. So if I can see a pullback opportunity, I will look to get involved, take advantage of the retracement, and then hopefully sell it down again. Because I'm still very, very bearish on CAD Yen, and I do still see a pretty big move to the downside for this one. In fact, it's a weekly chart. I'm still looking to see if we can push back into support down there, really, 94.7. So I do figure there's a lot more downside to be had. But first, I can't deny that we are in bullish territory. Price action is looking very, very fatigued right now. So if you can get one last sell, that'd be nice. And then, yeah, looking for some buys around 101.7. In terms of Aussie yen, so Aussie yen, again, this one looking very, very tired. Um, Not too sure if I'll be looking to short there anymore, especially if the yen basket looking tired as well. I think I'll be looking for a slightly deeper correction. I'm still expecting us to drop pretty hard and take out the lows there. But looking how corrective and tired we are, we probably are going to see a bigger pullback than originally I was expecting. Um, Maybe to retest the low here or pullback. I don't really have a concrete area for Aussie yen, so I'm not really looking to short this one. But what I can say is that we've failed at the lows a couple of times, so I do think a pullback is likely. If I draw a fib from the high here to the low, yeah, perhaps we get back into that 50, 0.618 area for a sell. That could be a nice place for a short, but yeah, because the yen basket's had a few attempts trying to break resistance. It's really failed. I'm not going to be looking to short the yen pairs a little bit too early. And same thing with New Zealand yen as well. I'm expecting this one to take out the swing low there. It's come very, very close to doing that. In fact, I thought it was going to do it last week, but I just missed it. And again, you can see we've formed support there pretty well. So I do expect this one to correct as well. If I do whip out the fib, perhaps we come back and retest this consolidation. That could be a place for a short. See what we do there, and perhaps catch the next swing to the downside. So that looks good there for New Zealand yen. But first things first, I do think a bit of a pullback is on the cards. On the lower time frames, there might be some nice buys to take advantage of. So you can see New Zealand yen snap through some structure there. Something like this could look good on the lower time frames, and a nice buy there to take it back up. So yeah, pretty bullish on the yen pairs in terms of the current price action. No problem, Emmanuel. Happy to help. Curtis, what's your advice for people that try to be full-time trader? Well, there's a lot of things. It depends what stage you're at. If you're at the stage where you're still learning a trade, or you're at the stage where you're trying to transition, I would say just in general, if you're looking for full-time trading, the best thing to do with full-time trading is be a full-time trader, but of course have other safety nets or other income sources. For example, if you already have money for your expenses, then trading becomes so much easier. If you're relying on trading purely for your expenses, then that's when things become a little bit more troubled. And if you are going to do that, at least have some money saved up where you can actually access that money to pay your expenses, whilst you're slowly gaining profits with your trading. Um, but yeah, I think the way you should look at trading is not like, okay, I have to be a full-time trader to call myself a trader. If you're trading, you're a trader. That's the way I see it. Just see trading as a method to make money, whether you're full-time, part-time, or whatever time. It doesn't really matter because people have different finances, different expenses, different account sizes, different situations. So I think that the best thing to do is not try to put a label on it too much. Just progress at a speed that feels right. The worst thing you can do is progress too quickly. I don't mean in terms of your trading journey. I just mean in terms of going full time too quickly, because yeah, trading is a big, big psychological game, and if you mess up the psychological side of things, doesn't matter how good of a trader you are, you're gonna mess up, and you're gonna go back to square one pretty quickly. So take things slow. Do whatever feels right. Prioritize um, your stability. If trading's on the side, keep it on the side for as long as it needs to be on the side. And then when it feels right, when it feels right. um, to make it full time. The biggest advice is don't speed it up unnecessarily. I think that's the worst thing you can do. What's up, Lauder? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yeah, that's the best thing to do, LFTJ. There is no kind of there's no special gold sticker, gold star that you get if you're solely relying on trading profits for your expenses. I mean, that's great if that's the case. I mean, yeah, whoop-de-doo. But again, even if you look at the best traders of all time, yeah, of course they've made crazy amounts of money. Even they, a lot of them would have started with working jobs for salary and saving up money as well. And only when they're comfortably ready to move into full time in terms of stop work in other areas, then they would make the transition. And it just goes with everything in life as well. Um, and trading, especially because it's not consistent. You're not going to make a certain amount of money every month. That's just not the case. No problem. Happy to help. Emmanuel, a week of taking a free course, I became consistently profitable for almost 2 weeks and changed location the next day, and I haven't been consistently profitable again. Just fluctuation. Well, yeah, again, you're not going to be because again, consistently profitable doesn't mean that you're making winners all the time. You will take some losers, as every trader would do. You're not going to be looking to win every trade. You're gonna give back money, make money. The overall thing that's the most important thing is your equity curve. Generally pushing to the upside. It's gonna have some dips and some pullbacks, but if it's generally pointing up, then you're in a good place. Um, so yeah, don't try and be too focused on the minor kind of pullbacks of the equity curve. Just focus on the overall kind of approach to trading and making sure you're consistent with that, and that's how you're gonna improve. But, that's what I like to hear, my man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Yeah, exactly, and, you've been training for a while, as well, Holly. You've been training for a while too. The worst thing you can do is, like, trade for, like, a year or 2 and then just move straight to full time. A lot of people think that, to call yourself a trader, you need to be full time. I mean, again, calling yourself a trader is just a title at the end of the day. We're all here for the same aims, which is to make a profit. We're not here to have special titles, are we? So, my biggest advice is just do whatever feels right and don't rush it. What about prop firms? How to approach them? Um, yeah, prop firms, you just use them as a tool to speed up your trading. Because of course, a lot of people won't have substantial capital to start with. A lot of people are just coming to trading to learn and using what extra money they can find. So prop firms do allow us the possibility to speed up that journey in terms of trading with bigger capital, not in terms of your learning. That's a whole different kettle of fish. You need to make sure that your approach, your plan, your trading, your execution is all at a good level where you're confident with before you do approach challenges and otherwise you're just gonna go into a weird kind of place of taking challenges, losing challenges, and feeling the need to make the money back, so you buy another challenge. Then at that point, you're not really buying the challenges because you're at a good place, you're just buying it because you wanna make back what you lost, which is a bad place to be. Exactly, nothing worthwhile that comes easy. I do agree there, Campbell. Yep, with consistent profits, there are drawdowns too. That is what people forget. Um, okay, I'm gonna go take a look at the yen basket. A lot of people do forget about the drawdowns. When someone says consistently profitable, they forget that consistently profitable is just a generalization of being profitable. You still can be consistently profitable, but still be in drawdown for like 2 months, or even longer. I mean, so some of the best traders are in drawdown for like 8 months of the year, and they only make their profits in the remaining 4. Of course, it outweighs the drawdown of the 8 months, but yeah, they're pretty consistently profitable as well. But of course, they're in drawdown for quite a long period of time of the year. So, you gotta take that into consideration as well. Anyway, in terms of the yen basket, I am looking for some downside for this one. I'm very bullish. I'm still looking for us to take out the wick high here, which is at 73.56. But, judging price action here, the amount of wicks you've had to the upside, there's strong bearish engulfing candles to the downside, the double tops there. It ain't looking good of us likely seeing a push like that unless news comes into play or a strong catalyst comes into play. It'll be very difficult for price just to break to the upside like so. So I do think we'll probably drop to the downside, maybe perform another higher low before we do push back up again, just like what we did over here, just like we did over here, and I'm expecting another one somewhere in that area there as well. But I am still long-term bullish. It's just now's not the right phase to be bullish in the yen basket. You probably will expect a bit of a pullback, drop to the 4-hour chart. You can see price has really tried to break through resistance there, and it hasn't really amounted to much. So expecting us to break support there, and then hopefully some longs maybe at the end of the week or maybe the start of next week as well. But if you're looking to trade the yen pairs, I think shorts look good. Um, Wait for a bit of a correction, and something like that could be a nice little short on the yen basket, which could translate to some nice longs maybe on dollar yen, or some nice longs on New Zealand yen as well. I think that's a nice trade to look at. If you can pull back, that'd be a nice little buy there as well. So that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. Maybe because DXY has been fluctuating or because I'm a day trader rather. Again, there's no excuse necessarily for it, Emmanuel. You just lost some money because the trade didn't play out. Again, as a trader, we're dealing with technical analysis, which is just it's limited information. Technical analysis is the study of patterns of the market. Patterns don't always play out, and there's a lot of other external factors which will dictate a pattern playing out in a specific scenario. So you can take a trade, works out. You take the exact same trade in a different circumstance. It doesn't work out. Best thing to do is journal, recall those trades, so you can kind of spot different mistakes that potentially are helping your different mistakes that you're making that you're not quite seeing, and that could help you win rate over time. But losing a trade is just losing a trade. You don't necessarily have to find an excuse for it. It's just a reality of trading. Whether you're prioritizing win rate or risk to rewards, that's what you should be focusing on. If you have a fairly small risk to reward, then you're kind of looking for more of a higher win rate. If your win rate is a little bit lower, then you're prioritizing a bigger risk to reward. So that's kind of where your focus should be. As long as you're keeping a record of your trades and you can look back, that's the most important thing. Because you're supposed to lose trades as well, which sounds a bit counterintuitive, counterproductive, but you're supposed to lose trades as well, which is not fun. But if you even if you win all the time, it gets a bit boring as well. Losses makes trading interesting. Yep, I'll take a look at Aussie CHF for you, no problem. Not greedy and trade small relative to my account if we close my current position. That's what I used to make as a youth what we so yeah, that's exactly not being too greedy. Of course, too greedy, too fearful, too whatever in trading is always bad. You just want to be in the middle, balanced. That's the best place to be. Yeah, exactly, LFTJ. That is tuition fees. Tuition fees. No problem, kid is happy to help. Pound CHF now going upwards. Okay, now it's starting to push. I see that quite a lot as well. We tend to consolidate as well, and then I feel like people get bored of their positions, and then it kind of just, runs in their favor. Kind of what dollar CAD is doing to me a little bit, kind of sideways, and hopefully it does break in my direction, but we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, it is very, very sideways. I need to go through the news for the week as well, because I need to see what's gonna happen later in the week. Anyway, we'll go through Aussie CHF, which I'm still currently holding some positions on. Campbell, appreciate it, my man, appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, good way to thank is, dropping a like. It does really help out, so I do really appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Um, I go live every weekday, and I drop analysis on the weekend. I'm starting to do a bit more trade recaps as well, so look out for that. I'll do recaps of previous trades I've taken and go through my thought process and why I've taken, those positions, so I'll start to drop more of those videos. But yeah, if you are enjoying the content on the channel, guys, please be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any uploads or streams in the future. Um, and yeah, I do really appreciate that. But yeah, in terms of Aussie CHF, like I said, I still do have the small position trading. I already taken most of my profits, so I'm not too fussed about this position. It would be nice if price keeps falling, but we'll have to wait and see. Judging how it's set up, it doesn't look too good in terms of the sells. Looks like price is kind of bottoming out a little bit here. So I do think we probably will see a bit more upside CHF. If we go and take out this area, this is where my stop losses trail to, by the way. If you go and take out that area, the rest of my position will be closed. But also, things look very awkward at that point. I wouldn't be surprised if Aussie CHF actually wants to go a little bit higher because at that point we above major support on the daily chart. As you can see, once, twice, a third time, a fourth time there as well. We back above support and perhaps getting ready for a move to the upside as well. So we're coming to major resistance now. I don't think now's the best time to be looking to do anything really with Aussie CHF. If you're looking to buy the market, you kind of want to be entering back down here. Of course, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but now's not the best time to be looking to enter unless you're on the really low time frames. If you're looking to sell, I'll see what we can do a little bit higher up in this area. If we can respect that high, perhaps we do have another sell in us. That'd be a nice place to put your stop loss as well. But those are the only areas which I'll be looking to get involved with. Right now, I feel like price is in the middle of nowhere a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Aussie CHF. Let me know what you're looking to do with it as well. I'm not taking losses for an interesting trading show. But you're right, as long as you're outweigh it doesn't outweigh the wins, but losses hurt on some yeah, 100% light. I'm just kidding. We're not losing to make trading interesting. That's funny. Um, yeah, yeah, but again, it's both sides of the coin. If you have the possibility to win a trade, if there is a possibility to win something, there's the same possibility to lose something. If there's an opportunity to gain, there's an opportunity to lose. Um, we need losses for winners to exist, and vice versa. Um, and yeah, I feel like with trading, you can grow so much as a person as well because coming into trading, losses are the biggest pain, and they still are. Who looks forward to losing? No, I wouldn't say anyone does. You'd be lying if you said you do. But I feel like once you kind of embrace your loss and you realize that they're just a price to pay for the business, like every business has its expenses. You kind of view losses like that a little bit. It kind of makes it a bit easier. Um, but if you're very, very confident and very, very clear in your edge and what you're doing as a trader, then losses become so much easier to take because you already know they're coming, but you know your wins are going to outweigh them. So it just becomes um, like a process. Of course, if you're not sure, if you're lacking confidence, then losing is gonna hurt so much more because you're not too sure if you're able to make your wins back. Don't worry about the look how I'm confident in my trading. You're already in. It will come down. I'm in two. I have no other income, so not a game for me. What's up, Mike? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you, my man. Which broker you use? I use IC Markets. I've used them for at least 6 years now, probably longer than that, to be honest. But yeah, at least 6 years. But yeah, very, very big broker, um, regulated in Australia. But yeah, good broker. Haven't really had any complaints with them. There's other big brokers you can use as well, but IC Markets is the one I use. I had a short trade in euro pound for stop loss. What market? But at market open, the highest bid price was my trade got stopped out because the arse apparently spiked 16. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes if I'm in a trade and I'm holding it over the weekend, if price is near my stop loss, I will remove my stop loss before the market closes because I know when the market does open, spread's going to widen, and of course gaps as well as there's a possibility. And that could just take your stop loss and ruin your trade. Yeah, yeah, I've had that a few times. Again, you experience that with every broker, but I've had many times with IC Markets as well, where I'm holding position over the weekend, especially with like Aussie CAD and Aussie CHF and CAD CHF, especially with those type of currency pairs. I would have a position, and then the market will open, and then I check my MT4, and yeah, I've been stopped out, even though price hasn't necessarily got there, but the spread widened and it triggered my stop loss. So what I do is I remove my stop loss before the market closes. Of course, there is risk in that, potentially prices. I mean, as long as you add it in straight away after, you're fine. Because even if you had like an entry here, let's say targets down there, stops here. If the market gaps above your stop loss over the weekend, let's say it gaps and opens here, even if you had a stop loss, this is still the next available price you'll be filled at. So whether you have a stop loss or not, your loss is still gonna be up there. So the risk is not that big. The only risk is that if price keeps pushing up, then of course your loss is gonna get bigger. Whereas if you had a stop loss down here, you'll be filled at that next available price, so your trade will close. But yeah, I take my stop loss before the market closes. That's if it's near my stop loss. If I'm in profit, then there's no point because it's gonna be very far away. Um, but yeah, I remove my stop loss just to give myself a bit of room. Um, yeah, that's true. Wait until 11 p.m. UK time. That is true for spreads to get to normal. No problem, Mike. Happy to help. Happy to help. Okay, where was I? I'm gonna take a look at my watch list quickly. I don't really have many pairs on there, but I'll go through my watch list quickly, and then I'll start to go through some of the crosses, some of the cat pairs as well. All right, take care, Will. Glad to have you on the stream. See you on the next one, my man. Take care. Um, okay, so in terms of my watch list, of course, like I said, I'm still managing Aussie Chef and Dollar CAD. So those pairs, I'm just gonna let the market do its thing and see what happens. Not much for me to do right now. I was keeping an eye on NSD CAD shorts, but it has not set up at all. I did take a short and I closed this one early for a small loss last week. I said I was potentially going to re-enter at the high here, but prices breaking the high like it's not even there. So I'm backing away from New Zealand CAD. I still do have a short bias, but it's definitely not setting up for a short right now. And it might be looking to turn around. So I'm backing away from New Zealand CAD. Euro yen, I really like the shorts for this one, but it's not quite ready yet to be short in the yen pairs. So I'm keeping a close eye. but we might push a little bit further, and then maybe the shorts could come nice later this week. But I am keeping an eye on Euro yen shorts. Um, I also keep an eye on dollar yen and CAD yen longs if they do pull back enough. So if dollar yen does push back into low here, I will look for some shorter term longs to capitalize on some shorts later on. But I do like the longs there for dollar yen and CAD JPY as well. I do like the longs there too. If this was to pull back down, I do like the opportunity for a buy. I'm still short bias, but I need this to pull back a lot further. So I might look to capitalize on the retracement first before I do capitalize on the continuation. So I do like those opportunities. Of course, with the USD pairs, I'm waiting for a lot of pullbacks basically. Pound USD, I really like the longs for this one, but we need to pull back. Ooh, looking pretty bullish right now. So yeah, I need this to pull back. I'm looking around 1.27 for some longs. We're nowhere near that area, so I'm very much just sitting on my hands with pound USD. But that is really where I'm looking for a buy. Euro, same situation as well. Very bullish on this one. Just waiting for us to correct. I've got a couple areas on the daily chart I'm looking to buy from. 1.077 looks really good, and also 1.06187 looks really good there as well. So I'm looking for longs on the retest of these areas for some buys. And yeah, see if we take it back into resistance up there. So I really like euro longs. I like pound longs. I also like silver longs as well. Silver looks really good. I like the breakout last week. A lot of momentum breaking through resistance. Most likely want to push back into the high here now. So now the plan is just pullbacks and some longs. I may look for a lower time frame opportunity. I like this area here. Nice brief range, big push to the upside. Now price is starting to consolidate just above. If we can come back and retest that area, I think that would be a nice base for a long. Probably look for entries maybe on the hourly, maybe 30-minute even. I don't tend to normally drop that low, but I like the opportunity and the risk reward looks pretty good there for silver. So I'll entertain the idea. And yeah, if I can get a swing at least back to the high here, that'll be a successful trade and hopefully I can take it further. But I like the longs here for silver. And if we can pull back a little bit deeper, then I'll look for the retest here. And then I'll probably enter on the former chart. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it in terms of my watch list. Yeah, I'm gonna see how those pairs get going. Again, my main focus is really with USD weakness. I need some pullbacks first. All right, take care, my man. See you tomorrow, Holy One. Um, USTR is doing its nuts. Can you check it? Yeah, okay. I'll take a look at USTR. Okay, Holy One looking to trade USTR as well. Okay, but not trading it. Yes, we can take a look at Euro Aussie for you as well. I'll go for USDR first, and then we'll take a look at Euro Aussie. I'll go through the crosses together. Yeah, USDR looking pretty bearish. I'm actually liking the trade. Actually, we got a really nice rejection on Thursday, or was it Friday? Yeah, Thursday. Nice tweezer tops there. One spike, second spike, close back below. Really strong support. Price is not breaking through that. So my expectation is that USDR is likely to break through the low here. And I do think there could be a pretty big drop for this one. I'm looking at the higher time frames. To me, it looks like price is trading within this bearish channel and has failed to break to the upside of the channel. So a few attempts at the high, respect it again. And it looks like we might be seeing another swing like that potentially. So there could be a lot of downside for USDR in the near future. And the fact that we are respecting resistance pretty well, I do think we'll probably spike through. In terms of opportunities, yeah, I'm not really seeing any opportunities to take any trades. This is kind of the area where you want to take your shorts. Perhaps if we get a break of the low, then the next pullback could situate, and that could be a nice trade to look into, but that might take a few days. You can talk about that closer to when it's actually setting up. But yeah, I'll be expecting more downside for USDR and then maybe the next pullback after that could be a nice trade. But yeah, I'll be pretty bearish on this one. Pretty bearish. Again, another USD pair. Wouldn't be surprised if you do have a big meltdown. Okay, we'll go through Euro Aussie. We'll go through some other crosses as well. Mike, how many trades do you average per month? I average one to two per week. So that's between, I'd say, 4 and 10 a month. Again, it depends on the opportunity. Sometimes I could take more than 10, 12, 13 if there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of good ones as well. Other times, if the condition of the markets are not quite ripe, I could take less than 4 potentially. But I'd say 4 to 10 is kind of my average. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Okay, let's take a look at Euro Aussie. Okay, yes, it's been a humongous move to the upside the past few days. Taking out some major highs over there, and then we've gone and taken out these highs there as well. So I do think we can expect to see some retracement. When the market does take out a major high, we do tend to have a pretty big correction, even back over here as well. We took out the major high here. What happened? A big steep correction. Took out the major high here. What happened? A big steep correction. Taking out the major high again. What could happen? Potentially another big correction as well. I wouldn't be surprised. We've left behind some really big areas down here. I wouldn't be surprised if prices come back and retest them. Even if we are going to just continue back to the upside, that could be where we come towards. So I can understand people looking to just try and short Euro Aussie because we are likely to see a retracement. It's always a difficult trade trying to call the tops on these moves, but I think it has some merit to it. In terms of entries, you kind of want to see price push back to the high again. That's where you want to find entries and perhaps a stop loss as well above the highs and then capitalize on a short. A bit more an aggressive trade, but like we said, the market is tending to do this pattern here, takes out highs and then drops. There's probably a good chance we do that with Euro Aussie over here. I like the weekly chart as well. I think we left behind a pretty big wick as well. If I just remove that. Yeah, you can see last week's candle. You can see the week before, really aggressive bullish candle. Then last week, big wick to the upside, closes back down. So it's a sign that market is tiring, and perhaps we do get another wick again this week, and then the price reverses and gives us a bit of a drop. So that would be a nice situation if that did form. But yeah, Euro Aussie, I would be pretty bearish on this one. Not in terms of the trend, but just in terms of the next move. I feel like it's time for us to retrace. So the shorts is where it's at. If you're looking for longs, then you need price to come right back down to some of these areas to look for some longs around 1.68, I would say will look good. Um, and that alone might take a week or two for us to get there. So not really too focused on this opportunity, but I think that's a nice place for a buy as well. Really strong move. Can get corrected, move back down. There'll be a good chance we do find support there. But for now, your Aussie looks pretty bearish to me, so expecting some downside. No problem. Yeah, your Aussie looks pretty bearish to me. I'm gonna go through Euro NZD as well. It's a similar pair. This one had a much bigger move, but I would expect something similar. And because this one had a bigger move, it probably will have a bigger correction as well. But again, after we took a major high, price came back down. I think we'll probably see price do the same as well. It's looking really bearish at the moment. It might have already formed the high, to be honest, because it looks like we formed the high over there. Now it looks like price formed a lower high as well. And now it looks like we're ripping to the downside. So in terms of an opportunity, I don't think we do get back to the high again. I think if you're looking for a trade for Euro NZD, you might be best off looking for like a lower time frame correction, a retest like that, and then a trade. That's probably the best you'll find there for Euro NZD. I don't think we do come back to the high. I think the high has been printed in already. Go to the weekly chart. Yep, left behind a pretty big wick last week as well. I do think we're likely to see some downside. We're coming back into major resistance on the left as well. So yeah, even though it is definitely a bullish market, still trend to the upside. This is not a bullish. This is not the bullish phase. After price creates a new high, that's not the time to be looking to buy. If anything, you're looking to sell. So yeah, a bit of a correction there for Euro NZD, and I do expect lower prices again with targets at least, at the very least, for us to come back and retest the high here. And we've still got a long way to go before that even happens. So yeah, expect the downside at least back to 1.86, I would say. Call it 1.86. Pullbacks on Euro NZD look good, and then some more shorts. All right, Lauder, take care. We'll see you tomorrow. So yeah, not looking too good on Euro NZD. If I go to pound NZD as well, yeah, pound NZD looking very, very bearish. Again, this was being very, very consistent at taking out the highs and then correcting. As you can see here, we took up major highs there. What happened? Price corrected. We took up major highs here. What happened? Price corrected. Taking up major highs here. What happens next? Possibly price corrects as well. Now, again, the price is still very bullish, and each time it does correct, it still does form a higher low. So let's not get too carried away here. There's a strong possibility that we do see some downside, but price does find support again and continues bullish. So it's not like a longer term swing trade, although I do think that's eventually going to happen, but we can't anticipate that just yet, especially when the high lows are still intact. So expect some more downside there for pound NZD. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, I do like this move to the downside. We're breaking through some structure here on the left. So we're taking out some of these lows here too. This would be nice to see pricing come back and we test that range. I think that would be a nice place for an entry. And that could be a nice little trade back into 2.22, which I think would be a nice place for a buy as well. So yeah, pretty bullish as a whole on those crosses, Euro NZD, Euro Aussie, Pound NZD, Pound Aussie. Pretty bullish as a whole. They've been trading to the upside for quite a while, but they're all at prices where they're likely to correct. And we're already seeing some strong signs of that happening as well. So yeah, more pullback, and that could be a nice opportunity in the lower time frames for a trade to swing it back down again. And if you're focused on the buys, then you should kind of wait for price to come to you before you're looking for any entries. In terms of the other crosses, so Euro Pound and Aussie New Zealand dollar. Euro Pound, I do think there's more upside for this one. It looks like prices starting to respect the monthly level of support. Now, March candle hasn't closed yet. I know it's looking like a nice bullish engulfing candle, but that's still got 14 days left before it does close. But we are coming back from a really nice level of monthly support. So I do think we can see a bit more upside. There is a big level of support just above us over here. I'm wondering if we can come back and retest that area. At the moment, we're testing some resistance, so now's not the best time to be looking to buy the market, especially coming back into this area. Nice consolidation did set us off on a pretty nice bearish journey. So I'm looking for Euro Pound to have another bit of a sell-off and then possibly see some more upside. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, I'm looking to see if we can come back into kind of this area here roughly. Steeper correction, and then possibly a nice buy. Maybe come back and tag the 50 as well. That'll be a nice confluence there too, and see some upside. It's not the best setup because it's kind of like in the middle of consolidation. So I don't think I'll look to entertain it, but I do have an expectation that Euro Pound is going to push the upside here, and probably back into 0.85 eventually. We might have a big sell from there, but I do think we're going to make our way back into resistance. In terms of longs, we are approaching resistance, so now's the best time. If you can pull away, that should give us a nice entry later on. And I'll take a look at Aussie, New Zealand dollar. Paul, yes, we'll go through CHFJY there for you. Um, Let me have a quick look at AUD NZD. Wowee, this is looking really bearish. So it looks like Aussie is way, way weaker than NZD. But yeah, this has been really struggling at highs for a while now. So kind of expecting price to roll over, and now it looks like we're finally getting the dump. But you can see price respect to resistance once, twice, a third time. Really aggressive wicks a few weeks ago. So I do think price is going to roll back over, and essentially we're just in a big range here. There's your highs, there's your lows roughly. Price had a lot of trouble at the highs, so we could really sell off if price wants to. So I need to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, dropping back to the 4-hour chart. Um, Now they're breaking through key support here. Probably going to move into support down there. Could be some nice shorts on the lower time frame, something like this. Nice trade there back into some daily support. And I think we can go a lot further as well. But yeah, looking very, very bearish. In terms of CHF JPY, so this one I am looking at a big sell against the JPY pair, which I'm really bearish on. The way I see, we've got a nice head and shoulder pattern here. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. There's your neckline. Expecting that to eventually break. But first things first, it looks like we've had a few attempts trying to break through it, but price has just failed, and we're kind of just consolidating right now at support. Can even refine this a little bit better, just to that area there. So price is consolidating. It could break either way, 50-50. What I'm looking for price to do is actually break to the upside here and then go put another lower high in to short it back down. We've got a lovely high over there, created a nice low, another high over there, create another low. Now I'm looking for the third lower high in the sequence for a new low and perhaps a lot more downside after that. But I'm extremely bearish on the higher time frames, but price has had numerous attempts trying to break through support. So to me, it doesn't look like it's likely to happen. If anything, there might be some nice buys here for Swiss yen. Let's say if we get a strong break, some pullbacks could end up being a nice trade to actually take advantage of that retracement. So I would keep an eye on that if I'm on the lower time frames. But yeah, the bigger move for me is still likely to the downside. Let's not forget CGF JPY was still at all-time highs. This is our previous all-time high back in 1979, believe it or not. Price is trading above that, so I do think we're very much due a correction, and that's really the move I'm looking to capitalize on. So I do see a lot of downside for Swiss yen, but we might see a pretty big move to the upside first before it happens. And if you're looking to capitalize on that, I'd wait for the break and retest, something like that for a trade. And also looking at the yen basket too, it looks like the yen basket is about to drop because I've been looking to short euro yen, but it just hasn't been set up quite yet. I mean, the opportunity's been not bad, but the reason why I'm staying away from shorting euro yen is because it doesn't look like the yen itself is ready to move, which is really the thing I'm banking on here. I'm not so much shorting euro yen to short euro. I'm shorting euro yen to buy yen, if that makes sense. It's just euro yen is the best setup for now. Not necessarily the best pair to trade it with, but the best setup. So, looking at the yen itself, the yen basket, this is the yen against other major currencies. It's looked like the yen basket's found a lot of resistance here around the 7K. It's really struggled to break through. There is some support below us, but I do think that's likely to give way. And I'm expecting to push the downside. But I do expect it just to be a pullback for us to keep pushing higher. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for the yen basket to do, which will give us the next higher low, and that'll probably give us the next lower high for uh, Swiss yen. So that give us that high there. Pound yen as well. Will probably give us that high there. CAD yen as well. Probably give us a nice pullback into this high here for another lower high. Euro yen's kind of ready in that area, but hopefully it'll go and give us that high there for the drop. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm banking on with the yen basket. Looking for a bit more downside. Euro JPY is kind of ready at a nice area to short, but I just don't think it's quite ready yet. So I'm backing away, and hopefully it might set up pretty soon. But I don't want to jump the gun here. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the yen pairs. In terms of the CAD pairs, as I said, I do think it's time for Euro CAD and Pound CAD for them to see a bit of retracement. So as you can see, Euro CAD's been so bullish, really big move to the upside. You can see last week's candle, big wick as well, pull back. So it's a sign that we are running out of steam, slowing down. We've broken out of that range well and truly. So I do think it's time to see a bit of correction, perhaps come back and retest some resistance there. So it could be some nice shorts to take. We're coming back into a nice range here, which just start a big sell-off there as well. So we're generally coming to an area where sellers will be sitting to try and take price back down. As I drop to the 4-hour chart, you can see we're becoming a bit more corrective now on the way up, so it's a sign we're slowing down. I think with EuroCAD, there's probably still a push to the upside to be had. You can get a push, perhaps a nice double top could form. That could end up being a really nice entry, stops above the highs. An aggressive trade because you're shorting a very bullish market, but we're in an area where you expect a retracement anyway. The market's pretty overextended. So there's multiple reasons why we expect to move back down. Um, but it doesn't change the context of the market. It's still very aggressive given the fact momentum is going against us. But I do like the idea. And if you're looking for longs for EuroCAD, then of course you want to see a bit of a pullback. And this looks like a really nice place for a long as well. And of course, when I do map out these levels, I'm not saying just buy when price gets there or sell when price gets there. These are areas of reference and areas of probability where we could turn. Price is still the number one most important thing. How we get there, how we react, how do the candlesticks look, what are the higher time frames telling us? Those are very important factors, if not more important than where we're buying and selling from. Because it doesn't really matter where you map out in terms of where price can buy from. If price, when it gets there, is not looking like it's about to turn around, then there is no trade. Um, So these are areas where we could turn around from massive resistance. This is could be a really nice point for support. If we're just getting big bearish candlestick after big bearish candlestick, then and it's breaking through, there's literally no point of you buying there um, if we're not slowing down. So how we get there, how we react is very important, and that's a key thing we'll take note of. But yeah, we're now expecting price to retrace for EuroCAD, PoundCAD, same thing as well. Expecting that to retrace as well. Expand to the daily chart. We've got massive resistance, which we turn support, which is just resting below us right now. I think that's a really nice place for a long as well at 1.81. You can see some wicks there in the daily chart. We're starting to slow down. Nice bearish engulfing candles as well. Uh, Weekly chart, a lot of wicks there as well. So we are slowing down. Again, just because we're slowing down doesn't mean necessarily we're putting a top in. Price could still push another 200 pips if it wanted to before it does actually form the actual top. It's just a sign that, okay, the top is on the horizon. It's not like we're still seeing candlesticks like this anymore. Yeah, this is a new phase in the market. And given the fact that pound CAD, if I go to the weekly chart, it's taking out some major resistance. I do think we're just likely to pull back pretty soon now for pound CAD. Um, yeah, still a bullish market, so still be careful, but the pullbacks are definitely imminent. And maybe a push back into the high could actually set up a nice trade. Again, if you're looking for some counter trend trades, and if you're looking to the long pound CAD, just like Euro CAD, we've got a big level underneath us here, which looks like a great place for a buy. I'll wait for price to get to that area, look for some entries, and hopefully we can swing it back into resistance again from that area. So yeah, pound CAD looking good, Euro CAD looking good, but I do think we'll probably see some shorts first before you get some decent longs. In terms of the CHF pairs, I haven't actually been too focused with the CHF pairs. Of course, I'm kind of managing my Aussie CHF trade, but I'm not really looking to do anything with that in terms of like re-entries or anything right now. Um, Looking at some of the other CHF pairs, you got New Zealand CHF. I still haven't looked at dollar CHF yet. Yeah, have a look at that one. Um, Look at that entity CHF really pushing. That's because entity's really strong right now. But again, entity CHF is still very corrective on the way down. So potentially we're getting ready for a big push to the upside. I'm still looking for us to go and take out the wick low first before we do that, but already slowing down quite aggressively right now after we've taken out that low. We had a lot of wicks to the downside here on the daily charts. It looks like prices tried to break to the downside, essentially just failed to break through support. And now we're seeing some momentum in the opposite direction. There is a brief area of supply here. I'm going to see how we react with that. Perhaps that might be a nice area for a short. And you see the next swing. If price goes and breaks through that area, well, we've got a big problem there because that is a strong bullish sign. And at that point, we're probably looking at a pullback and then some more upside in terms of the buys. And we probably ain't coming back to that wick for a while. Might see a bit of a bullish trend form before we do push down. But of course, we haven't done that yet, so we're not going to focus too much on that breaker structure. But this is definitely a nice area of supply. This is, of course, the lower high, which gave us the low here. So this is a very, very important area that needs to be respected. If it is disrespected, then we've got probably a change in trend here. But yeah, looking very bullish as we approach the high. Let's see what we do around 0.514. Things look good. I'll probably add this to the watch list for a short. But at the moment, being a bit skeptical. Chef breached all-time lows not recently, not long ago. Just about. If I measure this and take it across, you can see we just about pinched the all-time low there. So for Chef, again, expecting a bit of a pullback as well. Not really a trade I'm looking to take, but I do expect us to see a bit of a correction. Every time we do create a new all-time low, Chef does push up pretty aggressively. So perhaps something like this and a spike to the downside, that could be a really nice buy there in the next few days to take it back to the upside. So yeah, pretty bullish from Chef as well, expecting some retracement. The market is still overly bearish, so I'm not going to say if this is a reversal or if this is a retracement. We'll see how price kind of makes the move, whether we're aggressive or we're slowly pushing up, and that will give me clarity. But I do want to see a lot more downside, a lot more upside here for Chef. If I go take a look at dollar CHF, this is a pair I'm looking to short actually. Again, maybe I'm taking advantage of USD, not necessarily looking at buys on CHF, although I do think it will be stronger in the long term. So dollar CHF, again, just a big ranging market, equal highs up there, equal lows down here. Market has been fluctuating between support and resistance for quite a while. We've had a really big reaction off the high and naturally looking for a push back into the low here at 0.84. Dropping to the daily chart, not much to take away from this one apart from that support right now. I do like the possibility of a pullback into this area here. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, lines up really well with that low. We've got lower highs potentially with the trend line there as well. That'll be a nice place for a pullback for a sell. We're looking pretty corrective at the moment. I worry that if we're going to form a lower high already, if we do, that's not really my trade to take. So I'm just going to let the market do its thing. But if we can pull up greater, that'd be great. And then I'll take some shorts on the way back down. But yeah, very, very bearish here on dollar chef. I like the swing highs and swing lows. Now it's just about waiting for my turn to actually take a position. In terms of Euro CHF, this one's a bit more awkward with respect to the lows really aggressively on the daily chart. It looks like price has just turned around since then, really. So this is our last major swing low. I think that might be our last all-time low. It might be. I think it is. And price respects that pretty well. And since then, we turn around. So I wonder, is price forming at a lower high or is it potentially reversing? I think in terms of the buys still look good there for pound CHF. They are very corrective right now. So unless we have a new kind of found momentum, I would avoid for any type of break and retest because we're very, very tired. Like I said, if you do break to the upside with aggressive momentum, then yeah, pullbacks will look good because the momentum is back in the market. But if we stay corrected like this, yeah, pullbacks don't look good, at least in that area. If we're gonna have a deeper pullback, I think this is a nice place for a long, nice brief range there, big push to the upside. Something like that would be a nice place for a long, be a pretty big pullback, but nonetheless, great place for a long to see some upside. That's kind of really where I'm at with the CHF pairs as a whole. Um, Pound CHF, look at that one. But yeah, Pound CHF pretty much just It's broken out resistance, so I'm naturally a bit more bullish on this one. Um, Perhaps we're coming back to some resistance up there. Not completely decided on that. I'm not really looking to trade the pair, in all honesty, but since we've cleared resistance, I do think we're likely to keep pushing to the upside now. So I'm pretty bullish down pound CHF as well. So yeah, I do think more upside is the likely outcome here. Um, Again, in terms of overall trend, CHF is still strong across most currency pairs, so I do expect them to eventually continue south, but we might be going through some counter trend plays first. So that might end up giving us some nice opportunities to keep shorting. So keep an eye on that. And yeah, Aussie CHF, I'm just gonna let the market do its thing. But in terms of my focus, really, Euro Yen um, is trading in an interesting area. So this one I'm going to keep a very close eye on. Very close eye. In terms of BTC and other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, I still do think there's a bit more downside for these ones to have, especially because if the US indices continue their bearish path as well, then you're going to see Bitcoin continues bearish path because the correlation right now between them is pretty high. When NAS drops, you kind of see BTC drop as well. And drop into this one on the 4-hour chart, I can see we're having some trouble at the lows here. Every time we do spike down, we do see aggressive moves back up again. Perhaps we can get another push to the upside for another sell trade, especially if we can work our way back into resistance up here, which is around 90K or 91K. I think that would be a really nice place for a short. And then I do think that would be a nice place for a long as well. I do think after this aggressive double top, we might see a deeper correction. So I'm not necessarily looking to buy off the high here for new all-time highs for Bitcoin. I think that'll be a pretty optimistic trade. I mean, it could happen. But if I can take it back into around 90K, I think that'll be a great trade. What I do tend to look at is 50% of a move is a great way to fade highs and lows. So for example, if you're looking for a buy here, if you measure from the top of the move to wherever the low forms, let's say the low forms there, then 50% is always a nice place to target because it kind of comes back into equilibrium of the move, especially in FX where we do tend to kind of reverse a lot. 50% is a nice place to target. It doesn't have to be exact 50, but generally 50 is a good place. And this scenario kind of lines up pretty well with the support level there. So by default, that would be my target for the trade. And then if you want to hold positions further, you can lock in half there, another half there as well. That way, price does come against you, you still walk away with a profit. If it does go for you, you can still hold on to a decent size and take advantage of that bigger trade. Of course, you won't make as much profit if you held on fully, but then if you did hold on fully and it did return, you make nothing. So there's a lot of pros and cons of trading. You do this, you sacrifice that. You do that, you sacrifice this. It does come back down just to overall comfortability. Um, if you do prefer locking in gains so you can hold a little bit better, or if you struggle with holding trades to bigger targets, maybe it's good to take partial along the way to try and build up that stamina. But yeah, I do think Bitcoin looks good for a buy. Ethereum doesn't look good at all. We broke through a strong area of confluence. I'm actually a bit skeptical with Ethereum, to be honest, really, because I was liking it. We're still holding to the 200. We had this lovely trend line, continuing price, but a nice level of support here as well. So this was a really nice area for Ethereum. If we kept holding this, we could potentially turn around, maybe look pretty bullish again. But now Ethereum has indeed broken through. It's not 100% over because we could still see price close straight back above potentially. We all know how volatile cryptocurrencies can be. All of a sudden, we can just have one massive week that gets us right back above that level strongly as well. So that could happen. But if we do start to hold this as resistance, so 2200, if we start to hold this resistance, then I do expect to see another drop. Perhaps they're going to take out these lows, and maybe even these lows here as well, which would take Ethereum all the way back to below 1,000, um, below 1,000 there, which is not great at all. In terms of risk reward, it'd probably be decent because if we get back to highs, you're looking at 5 there. Yeah, that's pretty big sell-off because that'll take us below the lows of 2022. And if you look at that in terms of Bitcoin, where's the lows of 2022 for Bitcoin? I guess 23, 22 there. That Bitcoin to 17K, and I don't think Bitcoin is gonna drop to 17K. But, yeah, Ethereum since taking out that support there, not looking great at all. So I'm gonna keep a close eye there on Ethereum. It might mean some more downside, but Bitcoin, I like the buys from 72K. Like I said, not looking for all-time highs, but I do think it's a nice area for a bit of a snap. So I'm gonna keep a close eye on that. In terms of some of the other metals, so we had a look at well, we'll take a look at oils first, and then we'll go for, like, copper as well and platinum. So with, oil, okay, it looks like we're finding support finally. As we can see, major support in this area. We dropped to the 4-hour chart. We've had a few stabs. I did say, last week it would be nice if price could sell off again, test this area where we're putting these wicks, find some entries in that area and take a trade. This is clearly a daily support level, which price is really struggling to break at. And you can see all the wicks prices forming and does look like price is kind of rounding off a little bit, which is the characteristics of a low, um, of a bottom, sorry. So, I do think oil is likely to bounce. Again, how far? Not too sure. It's been a really aggressive move. You can always measure 50% of that move and have that as a target. I still think that's a pretty big target as well. Probably look at resistance here on the left. There's a nice target there. So around 72, I think will look good. Not asking too much from the market, but still a decent move there back into that resistance. And then perhaps we might get another sell um, from that area. But yeah, oil, I do think that we can have a bit of a bounce. Gold and silver already went through, really looking really, really bullish on those. Copper, I'll take a look at. What's up, Ben? Welcome to the stream. Sol looks wrecked. Lost 130. Oh, very big level on the weekly chart. Let me have a look. Um, with should I go Bitstamp? Yeah, let me go Bitstamp. Okay. Yeah, we have broken through 130. I mean, I wouldn't say it's over. Um, I wouldn't say it's over, because we do have some support here, which I'm kind of classing around 125. Around 125 here. Yeah, 125, 124. That's still kind of the support level I'm looking at there. So as long as price is kind of above that, I'm okay. Last time I saw it, it was melting through 130. Oh, okay, yeah, pull back. Yeah, that's crypto for you. It's a drama queen. But yeah, it's still holding on to that support just about. Yeah, of course, yeah, it was at one point bleeding through the market, but it has pulled back. So yeah, for me, that's still just about hold. I mean, it's not looking great, but it is holding support. So the buyers are still doing a good job, and price can still definitely bounce from this area. They are still looking pretty corrective as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have one more spike lower. In fact, that could actually be a nice entry for a buy there, and that might give you some nice opportunity to the upside. But yeah, it's not looking great, especially after failing to break through the highs there. We did wick through, but it was a lot of rejection. Um, but yeah, I still think we can see a bit of a bounce there for Solana. I mean, looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's like the governor, so to speak. I think Bitcoin's likely to drop as well, at least one more time into 73, 72K. So if Bitcoin drops, it's gonna be interesting to see how other cryptocurrencies hold up. Um, I don't think Bitcoin's in trouble. It's just going through a bit of a correction. I mean, the move to downside has been pretty corrective. It's not like Bitcoin is dropping hard like we kind of did back in 2021, 2021, 2022. We had some really big drops there, as we can see even here as well. Bitcoin for now is looking really, really corrective on the way down. So that there is pretty optimistic. Unless, of course, that changes and Bitcoin starts bleeding again. But if we stay corrective, then yeah, Bitcoin's like to fall a bit below and push. Yeah, gold trying to crack 3K again. Um, yep, looks like it's trying to break to the upside. I still like the buys down here, and basically can see if we can get another correction like we did here, back over there again. I like the range here. We broke out, time had a retest, so that would be a nice place for a buy. Yeah, gold's trying to break into 3K again. I wouldn't be surprised if we're successful, to be honest. Gold could just be in one of those sort of situations where we just keep pushing and pushing. And the best way to trade them is like some minor pullbacks and low time frames. But gold's looking pretty bullish. I'm liking silver at the moment. I think that's where the value is because, of course, gold's at all-time highs. Even though I do expect it to still go further. But silver, we've still got some work to do to get back into not even the whole time highs, just the previous high from last year. All-time highs are still at 50, which is a long time over there somewhere. So I still expect more upside there for silver. So some pullbacks into these areas I do think look like a really nice trade. So, but yeah, very, very bullish on both of them. A lot of momentum, and I do think silver's like to keep pushing. At the moment, we keep an eye on euro yen. Um, I'm still short on dollar CAD and still short Aussie CHF. But euro yen looks like the most likely for a new trade. Just need to be a bit careful with yen looking a little bit weak at the moment as well. But that does take us to the end of the stream, guys. If you have found it useful, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. I will be live again tomorrow as well, every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're enjoying the streams, please be sure to join in, come chat with us, say hello. Yes, I do look at crypto charts. We just had a look at a few there. But like I said, guys, I will be live again tomorrow. Check out the Discord channel to elevate traders, completely free to join. Link in the description below. You can also find at the top of the chat. You can join discussions, chat with other traders, chat with myself. You can find updates there regarding elevating traders. So if you are interested in joining the community, make sure you go check it out. It is completely free to join. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, I do really appreciate you jumping into the stream with me. I will be live again tomorrow, so I hope I do see you there. Have a great day. I'll catch you all in the next one.